Hello everyone, this is Dan, your resident Digimon fan. Welcome back to the channel, and we're going to talk about the Vital Bracelet again today. So I actually a couple of weeks ago released a video, the first video that I've uploaded in a number of months due to a number of factors. And I had a bit of a negative first video back, which was complaining about how Bandai had fumbled the release of the Vital Bracelet BE and of the VB Arena app as well, and how that had kind of ruined my enjoyment of the Vital Bracelet. Now, shortly after recording this video and uploading it, I was made aware of the fact that there had actually been some updates literally days before, maybe 1 or 2 days before, which have added some new features to both the Vital Bracelet BE and the VB Arena app, and have brought things closer in line to how they were in the original Vital Bracelet and the VB Lab app. Now, we're not there yet. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and some of my complaints are still valid, but I wanted to make an update video to give Bandai a fair chance, just to say they have been making some improvements. I'm looking forward to see if they continue to make improvements in this area, because since this update has come out and I've been using it, I have been using this every day again, which is really awesome, so really happy about that. Okay, let's get started talking about some of these changes. So to start off with, there has been a new firmware version released for the Vital Bracelet BE. So unlike previous versions of the Vital Bracelet, where you would have to buy an entirely new device to get the new software, you can actually update the firmware of your Vital Bracelet yourself. So to see what firmware version you are on, if you go along to the options menu, so system, and then you go along to the I, which means information, this one, and it will tell you version B. Now, if you have not already updated your B, it will almost certainly be on either 1.0.A or 1.0.B. I have already updated this one, so it's on 2.0.A, which is the new version of the B firmware. So I'm not going to go through on this video how to update the firmware on the Vital Bracelet BE. What I will do is link in the description Digital Dream 09's video, aka Alex. Been talking to him a little bit, and he's a great guy, and I used his video to upgrade my Vital Bracelet, so definitely check out that video. He's got a really good guide that goes over all of the features and everything, and I'll cover some of the features, but also he teaches you how to actually upgrade it, which is really useful for me. So all you're going to need to do the upgrade is a PC to get the files, and you'll need a micro SD card compatible with the files. So if you go to Alex's video, he will go through all of that. Once you've upgraded your Vital Bracelet BE to the new version software, there's a few new features. So some of these have actually been taken from custom firmware that was released. Now, on the subject of custom firmware, I'm not going to talk about what custom firmware can do for the Vital Bracelet. I am trying to avoid using custom firmware unless absolutely necessary. It was actually something I wasn't familiar of when I made my previous video, and I can see that there are some significant improvements, and most of my complaints are actually resolved by the custom firmware releases. But I'm going to try and stick with the vanilla firmware, because for me that's the most important thing, is how Bandai actually handles the releases themselves. We interrupt this video to bring you Cat. Thanks. So the first big change with this new firmware is some addition to the status screen. So now if you go into the status screen, I've got Run 'em on here. I'm running the Impulse City dim again. I figured if I'm going to start taking the Vital Bracelet BE seriously, I wanted to run some of my older dims just to get some of the old Digimon that I've lost, such as Shroudmon and Kazuchimon, and then I will move on to doing some of the BE memories, or BEMs, which doesn't really have the same ring to it as DIMs. So when you're in the save screen, if you have a look at the next Digimon, so we're used to seeing this screen where you can see vital points, battles, win percentage, and PP for evolution. If you move on to the next screen, you can actually see that statistics that you have completed are showing in yellow. So I have a 100% win rate, which means 70% is in yellow. Same with this guy, 50%, and same with this guy at 50% as well. So as you begin to complete these requirements, they will show up in yellow, and once all 4 of these are yellow underneath a time, you know that you are guaranteed that Digimon. Unless, of course, there is a higher level one which you meet the requirements of. So say you're going for Divemon, which I am in this case. I can have all 4 of these requirements as yellow, and that means I can get Divemon. But if I also go to Boutmon and I have all of these 4 as yellow as well, that means I'll get Boutmon because he is the highest stage and that's the one that you will get first. So just something to bear in mind, but this makes it very clear now what Digimon you're going to get, which is great. Next is a minor change in the character menu. So now when you go onto a character and you select it, you have the option of setting it as your main or your support. Now this actually was a feature on the original software, but it wasn't very clear. I think you had to hold the top button to set a Digimon as support, which was very strange. But now you can set a Digimon as a support very clearly from here. Now the Vital Bracelet DIM cards, the original DIM cards, don't actually make use of support Digimon at all, but the BE memories do use support Digimon. So in a battle, if your Digimon is low health, they might call out a support to help them finish the battle. Whether you can use DIM card Digimon from the original Vital Bracelet as a support, I'm not sure. It is showing Kazuchimon here as a support, so I will need to test this to see if it does work, but by the looks of it, it will work on a BE memory, which is pretty cool. Next up is an entirely new menu, which is pretty awesome. So if we go past character, we have item. So they've introduced items to the Vital Bracelet BE itself, which is really awesome. You can only store 1 item at a time, and the item is for the Digimon. So if I swapped out a different Digimon, I would not have the same item. So the only options I have in the screen are to use, OK, and cancel. And this is the item that I have here, which is triple points for training. So this is for all training. So what you see, it's got all 4 symbols there. And that means I'll get triple points for all of those, which is really awesome. There is a whole plethora of items that you can obtain. And you obtain these items from doing battles, from NFC battles. So if you have a random chance of dropping an item when you do an NFC battle, and then you can use that with your partner and it will give you a certain boost in battle. So I'm going to put on screen all of the different items that you can get. So there is triple points for each of the individual training items, training types, sorry. So you've got dash, squat, punch, and crunch. There's also the triple point for all of them, just like I have on my one, which is a very nice one. And then there are 2 limit up ones, which is very cool. So this is only really relevant for the BE memories. And I haven't actually had one of these yet because I haven't been using BE memories, so presumably I can't get them. But if we go onto the status screen, that's this limit here, which I've talked about previously, so the time limit. So this is 75 hours. Once a Digimon hits the bottom of their limit, it means that they can't be trained anymore. So you can't increase their stats, you can't evolve them because the PP points used for evolution are part of those stats. But with these plus 5 hours and plus 10 hour items, you can actually increase the limit of your Digimon and continue training it, which is awesome. That resolves a huge complaint I had about the BE, and I'm really happy that Bandai have done that. It's huge quality of life improvement. And then finally, the last item we have is ×2 vital points for victories. I'm not sure what the picture is meant to be. To me, it just looks like shortbread fingers, which makes me hungry every time I look at it. But when you use an item, it will look like this. So we'll go to the item box. I'll choose to use it. It'll say complete. And then when you go back to the status screen, you will see these 2 arrows building up like that. So it's not clear which item you've got from this screen. But if you go back to the item screen, you can see I have 180 minutes, so I have 3 hours left of this item, which is really awesome. So once I finish this video, I'm going to get training Runamon to get my evolution points to get him up to Divemon. So really, really nice quality of life improvement. You can obtain these items through battles, like I said, and if you already have an item in your inventory, you can still earn new items and you get to choose which one of those items to delete. Okay, so for example, I just won a battle against Namakimon here. So we should hopefully get an item. It's completely random. So let's see if we get one. You can see this time we got ×3 up for crunches. So because I have used my item, that means that this is now a new item in my inventory and I can choose to use that as well if I want to. So all in all, I'm very happy with the new item system. I think that it's great that the items are focused around some of the pain points. So especially for the BE memories where you're trying to make your Digimon stronger, having the triple points for your training is going to help out wonders. Increasing the time limit even from 0 so that you can do additional training is awesome. And then having the vital points as well just saves everyone time. Really awesome addition, and something that the original Vital Bracelet itself didn't even have. And so I'm really happy about this change. Kudos to Bandai for this. Can't complain. Yeah, solved a lot of my issues. So those are the main changes for the Vital Bracelet itself in version 2.0.a. Very nice quality of life improvements. There are still some things I would like to see addressed potentially in a newer version. Whether they actually do this, I'm not too sure, but a couple of things that I know have been done in custom firmware is that when you are doing standard training, you can have a setting so that once you complete your session, so once you've done 20 squats, it will just immediately start a new session so that you don't need to keep selecting it every time you want to do it. So if you want to just keep doing squats or keep doing crunches, or if you're out for a run, it would just keep ticking over and over again, and it just saves you having to check your watch every 20 or 30 seconds. So that's a really nice improvement. I'd love to see that implemented into the Vital Bracelet BE's official firmware. And also on the adventure mode for the BE memories, there was a toggle so that you could actually continue the battles once they have been completed, which was one of my pet peeves with the BE memories, that you'd have to select every single time you wanted to start a new mission. So some nice quality of life changes in custom firmware I would like to see added to the next version of the BE memory. But this is a great step in the right direction for Bandai, and you know, we should give them credit where credit is due. Great update. Okay, so let's talk about the changes to the Arena app. So I'll have somewhere over here my screen recordings from the Arena app. So some of the changes they brought in. Number one, there was actually a new event introduced, which I sadly missed. It was very similar in certain respects to a Splatfest in Splatoon, if you're familiar with that, where you choose a team and then you go in and you're doing some sort of like 3v3 situation. I'm sure there are videos somewhere of these event battles, so I'll put in the description so that you can have a look at those. I missed them, so I cannot describe them. If I try and go into the menu now, it just says the event has ended, so sad for me that I missed that. But moving on to the other main feature they've introduced is Adventure. So in the Adventure mode within the app itself, you can send 4 Digimon away for any period of time. I believe, I say any period, it's specifically 30 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours, and 8 hours, I believe. You'll be able to see in my recording what the options are. And then at the end of that time, you can come back and your Digimon will have found some items for you. Now, I don't know what the full table of items looks like. I'm sure there is a document somewhere that contains all of these, but there are some pretty cool items that you can get and then use within the app itself. So that we already had items within the Arena app, but they were mostly just event items like changing your ability and things like that. But now we've got a lot more. So we've got items that can increase your vital points. We've got items that increase the effort value of BP and AP, and I assume HP. I haven't seen any, but I've definitely got BP and AP. So that's the plus points you get from training. So what you could potentially do is focus on HP and then use those items to finish off the BP and AP. And I can confirm they can be used on Digimon that have already hit their limit, which is another awesome thing. We've got more items to increase the limit time. So I think it's like 60 minutes, 10 minutes. It's not as big as the ones that you actually get from completing NFC battles. They're probably rarer, which would be the case for that. But it's nice to have some more options for those. And you've got items that do things like reduce the amount of time it takes to digivolve your Digimon by an hour at a time, which is really awesome. And unlike the Vital Bracelet Lab app, when you had to use an item with that application, you had to do them one by one and send it across via NFC to the Vital Bracelet and back, which was really actually quite annoying. So if you wanted to use, if you say you have 5 60-minute Digivolution timer items, you would have to send your Digimon to the app, give it the item, send it back to the bracelet, and then just keep doing that over and over and over again. And it was really annoying. So it's nice that you can just press the item, use it, press the item, use it. There's still the long load times to factor in, and they haven't done anything to address the load times, sadly. But this is still a markedly huge improvement compared to what we had before. Those are the main things. I did try my hand at my first proper battle. Now, I know it seems a bit weird complaining about the new battle system when I hadn't actually done a battle before, but that's because I didn't really have any competitive Digimon, and I had seen lots of other people play the battle system. I wasn't too keen on it. I did have a good time, but I did find that the battle system was very slow. It took a very long time, which might just be because my Digimon were so weak that I couldn't actually even secure a victory, and the amount of damage I was doing was very low. So I'm going to train up some Digimon, try and max them out, and then give my hand at battles again and see how that goes. It's definitely an improvement on the VB Lab app, and I think if I give it more of a chance, it will be more of a good time for me. So those are the main changes with the Vital Bracelet BE version 2.0.a and the new version of the VB Arena app. Overall, I'm very happy with what they have done. There are still a few gripes, like I've said before, on multiple occasions, and I do hope that Bandai continue to address those with firmware updates and things like that. But generally speaking, this is a great step in the right direction. I'm somewhat more invigorated for the future of the Vital Bracelet. In fact, as a result of the firmware update and the Arena app update, I have now pre-ordered the new dim cards that are available. So there's the Lugamon one that comes with the strap, and then there's the Shine Greymon and Mirage Galgamon one. So I have pre-ordered those. Look forward to getting those in the future. Yeah, it's a great step forward. So thumbs up, Bandai. Appreciate that you're still giving us a chance, and I hope to continue to use the Vital Bracelet in the future. So those are my thoughts. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the new updates in the comments below, and until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.